start with this, show you what's going on, and we have a impressive shot here. You got to get, I would think, pretty close to get that kind of detail on a bee. Usually when bees show up, I'm kind of heading the other way, but Jack isn't in a pretty cool shot there, no doubt about it. And Jack, thanks for sending in the picture. If you want to send some pictures in, love to see it. Pics@krqe.com. All is relatively quiet for us weather-wise right now. We do have a couple storms still lingering. Not much here in the metro. We've had a couple of sprinkles over the mountains today. Not anything that was a big deal, but across southeastern New Mexico, we've had a pretty good crop of storms throughout Chaves County and down into Eddy County. This was a severe thunderstorm earlier. Now it's kind of lost its intensity at this point. Was producing quarter-sized hail. No longer the case anymore. The hail core on this has collapsed to the point where we're not seeing much out of it hail-wise anymore, but there are still some showers north of Carlsbad headed into Chaves County as we speak. But for the most part, what we're anticipating is things backing off tonight, and then we'll crank it back up again for tomorrow. 80 degrees right now in the metro area, 60s and 70s for us off to the north, well into the 80s still down to the south for us. And the setup is exactly what you would expect for monsoon season, and we are getting moisture coming up from the south right now. Obviously, we've lost the heat of the day. That helps to provide some of the lift that we get that forms these storms. So for the most part, we'll see things die off for a while. We'll keep some cloud cover around during the overnight hours, but most of the storms will reinitiate again for tomorrow. Thanks to high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west. They both work the moisture in our direction during the day. So once we add the heat of the day, we touch off the thunderstorms. That'll happen through at least tomorrow. Then we end up seeing the possibility of the low that's sitting over Southern California eventually coming into New Mexico over the weekend. So what's the problem with that forecast? Well, I'm not totally sure it's going to work out, and here's the reason why. The jet stream that moves these storms along is much weaker this time of year. So when you get a situation like this, if the jet doesn't take this low and push it on through here, that could end up leaving the low well to our west for a longer period of time. The end result would be scattered showers would continue off and on until that low eventually kicks over us, and then we might see a slight uptick as it kicks on through. So what does it really mean to your forecast? Not a whole lot, other than the fact that we're going to see scattered storms continuing here over the next couple of days, and we'll watch that low to the west. That's the big variable. The longer it stays to our west, the longer we'll be looking at those generally scattered shower type of conditions each afternoon. 80 in Taos, 84 Raton, 69 in Red River for tomorrow. Scattered storms back toward the south and west. Few storms possible here too. 79 Silver City, 89 in Deming in the southeast. Saw some pretty good storms today. Another good chance for tomorrow. Temperatures peaking out in the 80s and 90s. So far cooler than we've been over the past few days. 77 in Sandia Park, 78 in Edgewood, and 81 in Estancia. And then here in the Albuquerque area, we will top out tomorrow with temperatures for the most part in the mid-80s. Partly to mostly cloudy skies and scattered afternoon storms. Watch the mountains for the first firings of those storms and then eventually working into the valleys. Scattered storms will be possible in the state capital through at least Saturday at this point. And again, there's a 7-day forecast for Albuquerque, and you get kind of the picture here with a bit of the schizophrenic storms in there where we have one and maybe a break Friday and then maybe one Saturday. You know what I'm saying here?
Schizophrenic.
Yeah, that's a technical meteorology.
No, and I don't mean that. No, and I do not mean that in a term other than just my own mental kind of going through this thing. And what I'm trying to say on that is essentially we get the showers kind of in and out, no total pattern until we figure out what that low is going to do.
We know exactly what it's up to.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Yep.